Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Extending Realities tour of the Bartlett Summer Show 2020. Thank you for joining me today, wherever you are in the world. This event will last half an hour, and we will go through 5 projects being exhibited at the Bartlett Summer Show that relate in some unique way to immersive technologies. If you haven't already visited the virtual Bartlett Summer Show 2020, please do so on www.bartlettartucl.com. So throughout the tour, please use the chat function to talk to each other and feel free to ask me any questions as well. So now let's give our other visitors a bit of time to join us. So before we kick off, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Krina Christopoulou. I just graduated from the Masters of Architecture program at the Bartlett School of Architecture in UCL. And I currently work as a Part 2 architectural assistant at KPF in London. And I'm interested in, surprise, surprise, immersive technologies in architecture. So a short introduction to today's event for anyone who is new to the Bartlett. The Bartlett School of Architecture is part of the faculty of the Built Environment at University College London. Every summer we put together a physical show that features work from various programs in the school. So today's event is a themed tour of this digital show, showing projects that relate to immersive technologies in architecture. So to recap for those just tuning in, welcome to the Extending Realities tour of the Bartlett Summer Show. Thank you for joining. The event will last for about half an hour, and I'll be going through 5 projects that relate to immersive technologies in architecture. So first, I would like to explain a bit the theme of the tour. So the theme of the Extending Realities tour looks at the future of architecture through the lens of immersive technologies. So over the past half century, virtual, augmented, and mixed reality technologies have been rapidly developing, allowing us to access information and interact with technology in spatial ways. So for architecture, there's actually an unprecedented opportunity to pave a way towards a new way of understanding space that demands redefined perspectives, design, and thinking. So as a design tool, immersive tech can help designers and architects optimize and rethink their creative process. And as an end product of design, immersive tech may be used for virtual work, virtual living, physical spaces with augmented reality overlays, mixed reality objects that connect to the IoT, the Internet of Things. The list is basically endless. So let's discover together some of the most exciting student projects at the Bartlett Summer Show that discuss such concepts for the design of the future. So I would like to kickstart the tour with my Year 5 project, the third space, to set the premise and then continue into navigating the other 4 perspectives on immersive tech. So this is me. So the third space investigates the evolution of the domestic realm as a result in transformations occurring in digital interface design, where 2D point and click computer interfaces that we now have in our homes can transition into intuitively operated 3D immersive and inhabitable digital environments. So far, the way we've interacted with technology is in ways that speak the language of the machine. We use 2D computer screens like I'm using right now, phone screens and stuff like that, that tether us to those small windows through to the digital world that we visit daily to work, learn, and so on. So technology is quickly evolving towards a point where we no longer need to treat the digital and the physical worlds as 2 parallel places with no intersection. So we can begin to design physical spaces that take into consideration immersive technologies as part of the end experience, which then in turn affects the physical buildings, how the physical buildings are designed, sort of creating hybrid physical digital spaces. So by designing both the physical home of the future and the virtual spaces it can host, the project speculates on a future where houses do not have computers in them, but they are computers themselves. So my house in a way is not only my house, but I would visit the way that I would visit right now different programs on my computer to carry out different actions. I could now turn my house into a virtual library or an office or a theater. So in turn, the physical home becomes responsibly robotic and rearranges itself to accommodate those multiple virtual inhabitations, providing the inhabitant with physical tethers and physical structures that enable the mixed reality experience. So the way the film works is with our sassy virtual companion, like the AI system of the house, George XP. We enter our new mixed reality home and dive sort of headlong into this expanding architectural experience without ever having to leave the front door. So back to the theme of the tour, the project sort of discusses how immersive tech can come in all its forms. There are moments of augmented reality transitions, mixed reality objects, and virtual reality environments that all sort of work together for a seamless hybrid experience. The use of immersive technologies, especially in light of the recent COVID-19 pandemic, investigates the role of architecture in learning, working, meeting up online, and living communally online, eliminating spatial distance through technology. So a question I would like to finish this with is, how can we imagine a time when architecture isn't built to contain technology, but it is built as technology? So now the second project I would like to talk about is very conveniently right next to me. This project is by George Proud. So let's have a look. Right, so George's project imagines a time in the distant future when architecture and immersive technologies are so merged, one cannot tell them apart. Augmented reality information like sound, architectural elements, and historical information are embedded within the physical structures of the building. This embedded data allows visitors to access moments of the past by experiencing, by hearing and seeing information left by the historical residents of Somerset, focusing on oral histories. So in George's project, let me take you to a nice explanatory part. So in George's project, immersive technologies like augmented, mixed, and virtual, maybe more mixed reality discuss how emerging digital tech and architecture can relate to heritage, storytelling, and creation of hybrid digital and physical architecture. So his architecture becomes like a reliquary, a vessel carrying the lost sounds of the past through the hypothetical distant future in his film. So the film is a commentary on the relationship between physical space and its potential digital extensions. It is actually it's a super cool film, and it's an unbelievably skilled rendered product. So I really urge you to give it a visit. And also George's film in some really innovative way is merged with his portfolio. So the protagonist in the film also explains his design process through the film, which is quite extraordinary. So yeah, give it a visit. Next up is James White, who is right here. Let's go in. James White's project is called Guilt-Free Homes, very in keeping with Unit 24 brief, and it is a speculative critique on big tech companies' relationship to the domestic environment and how augmentation could affect London's living conditions in the near future. So the premise is that increasingly our homes are places of surveillance, and our relationship to smart technology is creating an environment where it has become acceptable to swap privacy for commodities. The project speculates on the establishment of Google Homes in Somerstown in London. So his project, Guilt-Free Homes, opposes the planned Bliss Palace Tower, a high-rise block planned for Somerstown, and instead advocates for a typology and vernacular which is fitting to the local environment. So Guilt-Free Homes posits for a return to the dumb, in quotations, architecture of the past through use of stone and vernacular styles that can then be digitally augmented. Let's have a look. That relieves guilt by solving existing pressures which are associated with home environments, such as overconsumption, climate change, and housekeeping, which are all negated through the use of augmentation. So the machine-readable carved stone interior allows for constant shifting of the architectural perception of the space, allowing for multiple realities within one room. I think we can see that towards here. Like it keeps shifting the inside. Yes. So in a way, the film discusses how architects and indeed architecture could be actually reduced to insignificance by digital design and augmentation, arguing that architecture built for longevity that is replicable and reconfigurable and satisfies the user's need for consumption and change could in fact negate the need for the profession and push architects to rebel against the designers of this system. So the film is set in London 2035, and the project speculates how the initial adoptions of AR, augmented reality, in housing will be through the medium of physical-based markers, arguing that when applied to an object which is durable and sustainable, the adaptability of the item becomes limitless and therefore sustainable. So that's James White's coolness. And now I would like to present a slightly different perspective on things with André Zamfir in Unit 18, postgraduate. Let's find him. Whoops. There he is. So Andre has quite a different story to tell with immersive tech. So using virtual reality, Andre explores the creative potential of layered and hybrid realities. He actually has two projects on here. These images are from his first term project where he designed a VR experience, the Bogota tree, and he establishes his creative process of using magical realism to convey the data of natural disasters in Colombia under the shape of a megalithic creature of the woods. And then he continued in his building project to employ VR, virtual reality, in order to convey the surreal and magical components of his design. So what I mean by that is that in his project, this project, Impossible Encounters, magical realism attempts to capture reality by depicting life's many dimensions, seen and unseen, visible and invisible, rational and mysterious. So the project positions the users at the center of the space and relies on their interaction to accept both realistic and magical elements of reality on the same level. So myths, stories of origin, and family histories are often interwoven and narrated in many different forms, from dances to songs to or mythical creatures. So the proposal merges facts with mythical tales to reshape them in a narrative space where architecture becomes a tool in telling the story of Mokoa, if I'm saying it correctly, and helps to heal Mother Earth. So the final film embodies, in a way, numerous elements of magical realism in portraying the native Amazonian shaman's perception of the indigenous natural environment. And natives believe in local tales and unseen powers where the Occident has a clear separation between real and unreal, factual and imaginary, science and myth. So these clash together to form the design geometry. So the project was meant to bring to life this interwoven real and surreal worlds through a virtual reality experience, which due to COVID pandemic, Andre had to convert the project into a film format. But the concept in general of the project, however, is a testament to how VR can be used in its potentially purest form. So bringing to life magical and components that are surreal of local myths and cultural traditions that are invisible in physical concrete structures. So virtual architecture in Andre's work shows potential for storytelling and realizing the impossible. And now, last but definitely not least, we're gonna move to Unit 9, undergrad. where we're going to see again a very different perspective on immersive tech. Here we go. This one. Right, so this project is by Ian Lim in undergraduate unit 9. And the project is a memorial for the unknown soldier and those who have died in various conflicts throughout China leading up to and during the Cultural Revolution. So the project deals with the perception of the history where two realities are present, the local government view and the view by foreigners and dissidents. So consider the dark part of China's modern history. A physical memorial dedicated to the victims of the Cultural Revolution it cannot exist within China, and as such, the proposed physical design would be a tomb for the unknown soldier that follows the conventions of Feng Shui, which would be acceptable to the Chinese government. However, the use of virtual reality in the building provides an alternate reality, which foreign visitors can access through the internet via virtual private network, what we call a VPN, allowing two spaces to exist within one. So in Ian's project, immersive technology is actually used with political and cultural underpinnings, discussing concepts of territory, conflicting government interests, and painful parts of history. Ian shows a perspective on digital technologies that can be used to alleviate the conflicting interests that often influence the design and the design of architecture. He suggests that physical architecture can take on the form of something locally acceptable, but then have a digital self that is internationally, let's say, inspiring. It's truly an amazing concept and very well delivered project that discusses serious and stimulating ideas. So please give it a visit. So yes, I would, at this point, I think I would like to say a huge congratulations to everyone for their amazing and forward-thinking work. So throughout these 5 projects, we saw different perspectives on immersive technologies, like from AR to VR to MR, spanning from the domestic space to concepts of history and heritage to pure magic and mythical traditions, and finally to even politics and governmental interests. All the projects are truly amazing. So I urge you to visit them on www.bartletartcl.com. So before signing off and letting everyone go and explore the virtual show, if you haven't already done so, I would like to thank the exhibitions team, the content management team, for making this show happen, and Hello Monday for creating this stunning website. And hopefully we will meet again in person, but for now, please enjoy the virtual show. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below to keep the ideas and the conversation going. So thank you.